Tonight on NewsWatch, international aid makes its way to the Philippines. A look at what comes next for the typhoon-devastated areas.
Plus, the problems with the president's health care plan, how the White House is proposing to fix the botched rollout.
And the church's fight to free girls targeted by sex traffickers. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. Good evening. I'm Mark Martin.
And I'm Wendy Griffith. The UN says Typhoon Haiyan has taken the lives of more than 4,400 people in the Philippines, a number that's likely to rise.
Meanwhile, desperately needed aid is starting to reach some of the hundreds of thousands of people displaced by the massive storm, and a U.S. aircraft carrier has joined the international relief efforts. The USS George Washington arrived in the Philippine Sea near the Gulf of Leyte. 21 helicopters are on board the carrier. They'll transport relief supplies to remote regions. It's been almost a week since Typhoon Haiyan plowed into the Philippines, and many still have not received aid.
It's chaotic. I don't know where to go. We don't know where to go to get any food.
Operation Blessing and CBN Disaster Relief are also on the ground helping in the relief effort.
We're at Tacloban Airport, and finally relief supplies have started to come in. Operation Blessing supplies are being unloaded from a plane that just landed. The scene at the airport is extremely chaotic. There are people clamoring, thousands of people at the gates trying to get in, desperate for a flight out of here. And today I went around the city and really got a sense of why they're so desperate to escape. Tacloban is destroyed, completely devastated. They say a 20-foot wall of seawater just rushed through like a tsunami and smashed the buildings, smashed the businesses, and really left nothing in its wake.
The city of Tacloban held its first mass burial Thursday. Officials lowered 100 bodies in black bags into graves. There are continued reports of gunfire and violence in Tacloban. A local official described the looting as self-preservation, not criminal acts.
There was a total breakdown of law and order. Each man to himself.
Health officials are concerned about the spread of disease. With so little water, contaminated water is sometimes the only source available.
I think we are all extremely distressed that this is day 6 and we have not managed to reach everyone.
The UN says Typhoon Haiyan displaced around 920,000 people and affected a total of 11.8 million people in the Philippines. And they do need your help. For more on the work CBN disaster relief teams are doing and to find out how you can help, visit our website, cbnnews.com.
Senior international correspondent George Thomas is on the ground in the Philippines, and he's on the phone with us right now. George, explain to us what kind of things you're seeing right now.
Well, Wendy, it's great to talk with you. Let me just set the scene right now. It's past midnight, and as I come on the air, we've heard at least 9 to 10 gunfire shots less than a mile from where we are staying tonight. It paints the picture of the sense of tension and rising frustration in Tacloban. The army has been deployed to try and ward off any further violence and potential looting, but no water, no electricity, no access to food. People are getting desperate.
So there's really a spirit of lawlessness that's kind of breaking out right now in those areas.
To some extent, but in a show of force in the last 24 to 48 hours, the government has deployed between 300 to 400 police officers from neighboring provinces. In fact, when I flew in this afternoon, the plane had probably between 100 to 210 police officers from Manila district, but hopefully it won't be too late.
George, what are people most desperate for right now? What do they need most?
You know, when we landed at the airport, I had multiple people, men, women, and children, run up to me, ask me if I had any water. And so water is the biggest concern. Next would be food. I mean, people can live with no food for about a week, but a lot less if you don't have any water.
Well, George, I know so many of our viewers want to help. How can they help?
My message to the folks who are listening is to just pray for the government here in the province to really have the wisdom to put their foot down and be able to go after the lawlessness and the potential looting, but also the national government to say, listen, we need to step up our efforts. Let me tell you, I've talked to a lot of Filipinos who are living here in the midst of all this, and they're very, very frustrated with their government. They cannot understand why their government cannot provide the most basic thing like water. So I would say just pray for the leadership that they'll be able to respond in a timely fashion, and then also for these aid agencies that they'll have the safety and the peace to be able to go out and to strategically meet the needs of some very, very desperate people.
George Thomas, thanks for your excellent reporting. Stay safe. Our prayers are with you and with all the Filipinos who are going through this incredible time right now. George, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Here at home, President Obama today announced changes to his health care law, giving into pressure from both the public and legislators.
Insurers can extend current plans that would otherwise be canceled into 2014.
This comes after millions of Americans received cancellation letters from their insurance providers. The policy change is good for 1 year. Senior officials say it could be extended if problems persist. But for Republicans, this fix is not enough.
The only way to fully protect the American people is to scrap this law once and for all. There is no way to fix this.
Facing pressure even from his own party and extremely low enrollment numbers, Mr. Obama says he will not accept proposals attempting to repeal the law altogether.
And for more on this, we turn now to Jordan Seculo of the American Center for Law and Justice. Jordan, the president now says insurance companies can let customers keep their plans for another year. But does that really solve anything here?
The president acknowledged the first problem with this is that state insurance commissioners have to approve any insurance plans. You know, people can't buy insurance across state lines. So these insurance companies, who are, by the way, their trade associations are already blasting what the president announced. They were getting rid of all these plans so they would comply with the law because they couldn't be offering plans to people that would then not be compliant, so people would have to pay the individual mandate penalty. So they spent years getting ready for this, and now they're being told, wait, no, you can offer those plans, except for they can't just go back to people, write a letter and say, okay, you can keep your plan. First, the insurance company has to draft a new plan. Then it has to be approved by the state insurance commissioner. Then it has to still go through the process of a person actually buying it. This all would have to be done, Wendy, in a month.
Oh, my goodness. Well, Democrats who are up for re-election next year
Sure.
are frankly scared right now. Did the president do enough today to ease their fears?
I think Democrat reaction is going to be very key because here's what we know. There's enough Democrats up for re-election to get through a possible filibuster in the Senate if Harry Reid allows a vote. Will they be satisfied? And I'm suspecting that there will be at least some who aren't because the insurance companies are coming right out and saying what is so obvious. This is impossible. Too late. Sorry, Mr. President. You knew back in 2010 that this was going to happen, and you could have made those decisions then, but there's no way. And so he gets to blame the insurance companies, which is what's coming next. There's no way we can comply with this and get this up and running within a month.
Well, Jordan, one last question. The president said today that he has to win back some credibility with the American people. Can he do it?
If the president wanted to change people's feelings about this administration, as he said, they fumbled the rollout. It's been a rough rollout. The truth is he would go back, he would exempt people from the individual mandate and give people more time. What we're nervous about, and what I think a lot of people have seen kind of this writing on the wall, is that the president knows and has known for years that there's no way insurance companies will be able to insure these people. So what happens when they can't get insurance by December 15th and then they're not insured by January 1st? Well, he's going to come in and they're going to say, well, the government can help you. And that's exactly what the left has wanted all along, a single-payer healthcare system. So we have to be we have to watch carefully. I think we have to be the watchman right here, and our members of Congress do as well, because this would fall into the trap that the left has always wanted, which is single-payer, government, 100% government-controlled insurance. And they're actually setting it up. It's like it was set up to fail, and they knew it was coming.
Jordan, thank you for being one of those watchmen on the wall, so to speak. Jordan, we always appreciate your insights. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Wendy.
An Iowa court has suspended a ban on telemedicine abortions. The controversial method allows doctors and patients to teleconference when administering an abortion drug. Meanwhile, the two never have to be in the same room during the procedure. Supporters say it provides women in rural areas health care access. But opponents of so-called webcam abortions say it's unsafe.
Because when you go to a doctor and you have questions, yes, they say that they have somebody on call for that, but I receive phone calls on a regular basis complaining of bleeding and they don't know if it's too much, pain, just different side effects from the abortion.
The Iowa Board of Medicine approved a ban of telemedicine abortions over the summer. It was supposed to go into effect last week, but Planned Parenthood is taking legal action against the decision, and a district judge recently ruled to suspend the ban pending that challenge.
The president's pick to next head up the Federal Reserve had her Senate confirmation hearing today. Janet Yellen has been the Fed's vice chair since 2010.
We've made good progress, but we have further to go to regain the ground lost in the crisis and the recession. I believe that supporting the recovery today is the surest path to returning to a more normal approach to monetary policy. Stronger today.
Today, she defended the Fed's current stimulus efforts, including the controversial bond buying program designed to keep interest rates low. She admitted the program can't continue indefinitely, but says it will remain until the economy shows further improvement.
Coming up, popular political analyst Charles Krauthammer weighs in on the disaster of Obamacare.
In 2008, my husband Gary departed for heaven. I was still grieving. And then to find out I had cancer, I began praying, God, how do I do this? Where do I do this? Cancer Treatment Centers of America was the place. Dr. Neelam outlined a plan that would take care of my mind and my body, and she prayed with me.
For Bible-believing Christians, we're able to pray with them in a much deeper way as they begin to really rely upon their faith.
At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, we believe in the power of faith and prayer as indispensable allies in the fight against complex and advanced stage cancer.
I'm back in Telluride on the mountain skiing. I feel strong and healthy.
Advanced medicine and technology.
And I am a survivor.
The warm embrace of the Spirit and the power of prayer.
These are happy tears.
Please go to cancercenter.com/faith. Appointments available now. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Care that never quits.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Well, Charles Krauthammer is one of the most famous political analysts in America, known to millions of TV viewers as an insightful commentator on Fox News.
That's right. In his new book, Things That Matter, Krauthammer gives his observations on everything from politics to pop culture. He recently spoke with CBN's Pat Robertson about the disastrous impact of Obamacare.
Now we're talking about 52 million people may lose their health insurance. This is a monstrous thing that has been imposed on the people. How do you suppose the Democrats got that thing through Congress? They didn't have any Republican support at all.
As Nancy Pelosi said, we have to pass it to know what's in it. The vast majority had no idea what was in it. It was written, it's hundreds and hundreds of pages. The regulations are now up to 20,000 pages. They had the vague idea we're going to sort of help the uninsured, but as you said earlier, instead of specifically going after the uninsured and trying to get a program that look after them, the instinct of these social planners was to completely redo, completely reorganize 1/6 of the American economy. I mean, imagine Pat, the hubris in thinking that you can get a bunch of experts in Washington who will be able to write the regulations that will harmoniously revolutionize this very, very delicate and complicated ecosystem called medicine. I used to be a physician. I worked at the Mass General Hospital as a resident and chief resident. And there are so many unintended consequences of this bill that are all going to intersect. And we are now seeing just the very beginning with the cancellation of the insurance of millions of Americans who like what they had and were promised solemnly by the president that that would remain undisturbed.
That essentially was a lie. Do you think he's low? I mean, he's down on the poll, but do you think this makes some status of his future the rest of this term? I mean, has he lost all credibility with the American people?
I think he has. I mean, I write in the book, there are a lot of columns on the beginning of his presidency where it was clear that he was going to be sort of the most radical social president, you know, in terms of his social program that we've had in at least 70 years. And the problem is, Pat, you cannot govern a country that is only 20% liberal from the hard left position. You cannot govern a country that's 80% non-liberal. He could for 2 years when they had the temporary majority, but now the chickens are coming home to roost and Americans are turning against that kind of central planning, that kind of political arrogance.
Charles Krauthammer's new book, once again, is called Things That Matter.
He's so amazing.
He is.
I really
I love to hear him speak.
Enjoy him. Well, it's available wherever books are sold. And up next, how one ministry is shining a light into the darkness of sex trafficking.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Yeah. Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes and Google Play now.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison and shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Selling children for profit is a multi-billion-dollar global industry, and it's getting worse.
Yeah, more than 1 million children are trafficked worldwide every year. Almost half of those are forced into sexual slavery.
A Montana-based ministry has released a new documentary to raise awareness about sexual exploitation in Asia. Gary Lane has the story in tonight's Focus Report.
Great Britain and the United States may have abolished slavery more than 150 years ago, but today human enslavement and sexual trafficking is widespread. It's now affecting 160 countries worldwide. Trafficked, A Hope in the Dark is a new documentary produced by the Montana-based ministry Vision Beyond Borders. It details sexual trafficking in Nepal and India. Patrick Klein is executive producer.
If you're a prostitute, a lot of times you choose that lifestyle and you make income from it. But these girls are not prostitutes. They're not choosing this lifestyle. They've been forced into this lifestyle. They've been sold as slaves. I would say the girls on the streets are young as probably 15, 16 years old, but we've heard stories of even 5-year-old girls being taken from the villages. Sometimes they'll actually be sold by their own family members.
Filmmaker Jennings Barmore says the market for young girls is growing at brothels.
It seemed like their cell line every time was young girls, young girls, and that was the way they tried to pull you in, and just how perverse things have become to where the selling point of getting men in here is, younger girls.
That's good girl, young girl.
For sex?
Yeah, you get here in the house, and the rooms also available there. 45 minutes, air-conditioned room, and you get all things there. Facility, young girl.
Butter was 15 when a friendly man offered her a job. She accompanied him to a movie theater where he drugged her. She fell unconscious and later awoke in a Mumbai brothel. Butter could not escape because she was never left alone. Vision Beyond Borders worker Debbie Che said sex workers never get a break from their degrading lives. If they don't keep up their quota, they and even their children will pay a price.
I heard that they're told if you don't get a customer today, you won't eat.
Wow.
And that was really shocking. Or, if you don't cooperate, we're going to hurt your child. And so even their motherhood is violated.
Some are denied the chance to experience the joy of motherhood. Patrick Klein says he's witnessed a new development in Kathmandu, Nepal.
We're seeing abortion clinics coming up all over the place providing free abortion services.
Is that cultural for them to allow abortion?
I don't think it's cultural at all, and especially a culture that's very family-based. But it seems like they're finding this is supposedly the solution to these women becoming impregnated, so let's just abort the baby and you can keep going on doing what you're doing.
So what is the solution to help rescue women, children, and others from sexual enslavement? Klein says people need to become aware of the problem. That's why he produced the Trafficked documentary. He also says prayer can make a difference.
When Christians begin to pray and cry out to God, we see God working. The powerful thing in this documentary is to transform life. When these girls come to know Jesus as their Lord and Savior, they find forgiveness for their own sins, but they're able to forgive the men and women that have used them.
And what about Butter? She was enslaved for 15 years, but gained freedom after some Christians introduced the brothel owner to Christ. Butter eventually returned to her home village, where she was shunned by neighbors. Klein hopes his documentary will motivate Christians to get involved, to help young women like Butter.
I think when we see individual people and hear these women's stories, that all of a sudden they become a human being, and that we also have a responsibility to do something to help them.
Butter eventually fled to another Asian country. A Christian woman named Deepa helped her transition into a new life, one free from sexual enslavement.
मनमा चाहिँ त्यस्तो आयो अनि फेरि पनि हेरेपछि हात हल्लाउँदै दिदी आउनुभयो अनि त्यहाँ हामी चाहिँ ल पक्कै यो चाहिँ पक्कै भयो कि हामी चाहिँ आमाकै घरमा आइपुग्यौँ.
Gary Lane, CBN News.
Up next, a Marine returns from his 5th deployment. What he does to make the moment memorable for his 3 kids.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Well, finally, families of deployed soldiers sacrifice a lot for our country, and that makes welcoming home their loved ones that much sweeter.
It sure does. One North Carolina Marine is experiencing that firsthand. Lieutenant Colonel Philip Eilertson says he feels blessed by God to be able to come home. His children haven't seen him in 9 months, but that all changed when he surprised them at his son's football award ceremony.
My kids think I'm coming home in about 2 weeks for a 2-week R&R and then back to Afghanistan again. But instead I'm coming home to stay. It's a blessing from God to be able to come home and to surprise them and be with them. So we're a family again, and that's the important thing.
Amen. Well, his early return is a welcome surprise just in time for the holidays. Boy, those military families go through so much. It's so nice to see a good ending to all of that, you know, nice homecoming.
Those great smiles
makes
for a great ending to our newscast
That's
as well.
right. We need some positive news, don't we?
We do. We do. Lots going on. Well, that's all for this edition of NewsWatch.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good night.
Stay encouraged.